Welcome back to Midcap Radar. Well, let's now get you an exclusive conversation from the sidelines of BioAsia 2025 Summit. Our colleague Vinnii Motiwala caught up with Krishna Kanumuri, MD and CEO, Sai Life Sciences, and quizzed him on the company's growth outlook. Let's listen in.
It's very hard to say what the growth will be. If I really look at the way the industry is at this point, it's really a point of capability building. So what has happened for a long period of time, most of the companies had worked in China, which will scale up significantly. But now as this first COVID hit, then a Biosecure Act has come up, customers are really thinking about how do we build for the long run. So right now I would say customers are really picking partners who they want to work with to really make them truly world-class, which can match up to the existing collaborations. So I would say long-term there's a huge growth opportunity. The question is, what is the pace of growth is still unknown at this point. But I think we might be underestimating the growth in the long run. In the short run, you still will have decent growth. We're guiding to 15-20% growth. But I think long-term, the potential is very, very significant.
Absolutely. You know, what is interesting, I think, is one of the US companies, major companies, spoke about CDMO and Indian CDMO recently. They said how they are also shifting focus and that China plus one strategy that everyone talks about. Right. I want to understand from you, have you seen increased inquiries? Surely are there, that's what I hear. But conversion into clients, is that something that you're seeing coming in from big players from US or Europe?
Actually, I think I'll go a step beyond that. Yeah. I don't think it's just the number of inquiries coming in. It's the level of engagement has changed. In the past, it could have been, okay, this is a project, this is a RFP. Now it's become much more strategic. How do we think about CDMOs in India as a strategic partner? Not only in terms of what they can provide us today, how can we make them better in terms of really helping build out our teams, enabling technologies which we're already working on, give us much more forward-looking statements of how they would like to proceed in their own innovation and how we can invest in that direction. So they're looking at partners who culturally understand what they're looking for, understand it's a long journey, and they actually are giving us a lot of guidance in terms of what they would like us to be and investing time and money as well in terms of building our capability. So I think where I see the biggest difference now, it's no longer about the service for them, it's about the relationship. And that's where I see the biggest progress, and I think that's the real upside we're seeing going forward.
And do you think India or your company yourself, you're ready to meet the demand that we may get coming in on that front? Do we have that much capacity to match the demand?
I think we are ready to adapt. To say that we're there already is going to be tough to say, because the reality is companies are only evolve as demand comes in, and demand is just picking up right now. So I think most companies in the space have the ability and the team, the resources to get there. The question is going to be a long journey, because China took 20 years to get here. Our customers want us to get there in 5. So it's going to be a steep curve, but I think the opportunity and capabilities are really there at this point. I think India will definitely be a player.
So from a company perspective, how do you change with times, right? There is going to be a different trend every time after some years, or different importance given to different products or drugs. So how do you?
This is one advantage of being an integrated player, because you're doing a lot of R&D. You pretty much involve most of the science even before they become very relevant commercially. So because of that, one, you're talking to customers very early on, you're working on the technologies, and we already have a manufacturing process, we have the quality systems in place, and we are commercially approved suppliers. It becomes much easier for us to transition from just a discovery to a commercial play. And as we go through discovery, we might work in 10 different technologies, only 3 of them will scale. But we're in a position that we can probably scale up the ones which really get attractive fast. So I think that's one big advantage of being an integrated player at this point.
And for your margins also very interesting, right, quite much better than the peers. I want to understand what now drives the margin going forward, and is that something, the high level margins of 28-30, something that is sustainable?
28-30, I think if you look at the global CDMO industry, 28-30 is pretty much the accepted norm. Yeah. And even the pharma partners want us to continue to invest in technology, invest in growth. So I think that's a good medium ground to get. For them, it's a good value of service. At the same time, it gives us enough return to continue to invest. It's the best interest of pharma partners to really cultivate their core suppliers. So I think this 28-30% is the accepted norm. I think industry is going to migrate to that number over time.
And if I have to ask your growth rate number for FY 25-26, what should I ask?
Right now, we're not giving it. Like I said, we stuck to a commercial at 15-20%, and again, this is a bumpy industry. Like as much as I say, I love to come and say, don't get excited if you have a great quarter, don't get disappointed if you have a bad quarter. This goes in lumps, and same years you might have 1 year 30-40% growth, next year might be 10%. So you can't really predict that. Over a period of time, the growth is exciting, but quarter to quarter, annual is a tough one to talk about.
And over that long period of time, if we say 5 years, CAGR growth, maybe what would that be?
We're still giving 15-20% growth.
15-20%. You're being conservative.
Again, we hope for more. See, end of the day, as a business, we have to prepare for the best, but also prepare for the worst.
All right, with that, we wrap up on this edition of Mid-Cap Radar with the news that the Nifty is marginally in the green. Sensex not much change from the time when we started the show. The Mid-Cap Index down 200 points. The Nifty Bank blinking between red and green. Thank you for watching.